Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sunless Sea on what is probably our last episode. I think the odds are pretty low that it's not the last episode. But the odds are pretty... Yes, the odds are low that it's not. I said that right. Ugh. So, quick overview of what we went through last time. It's not. I don't think it's gonna sound like much got done last time, but we did. So what happened? We started at the Khan's Heart, if I remember correctly, because we needed to go there. Because we ran into some trouble at the end of a couple episodes ago over at Fathom King. Ended up with a mutiny. So we started at Khan's Heart because we need to do that. We need to go there for a mission for the bandaged poissonnier. But apparently we needed drowning pearls for that, so that had to hold off. So anyways, we went back up to Fallen London, did everything we needed to do there, went over our plans for the rest of the episode. We then, after quite a bit of time for me looking around all of Fathom King and finding out how spawning works in this game, we ran into a Lorn Fluke, and finally took it down after our failed attempts in the episode prior. And we finally got a fluke core. Ugh. For some reason I always have trouble with that one. We took it up to Port Cecil and won a game against the principals and saw the ending of an Eldists, giving us one more of our final missions towards our father's missing bones down at Fathom King. We then went up to the Empire of Hands, turned in a couple of supplies that gave us the drowning pearls that we're going to need for this. Then we just ended off at Fallen London, going over a couple little things about how we're going to end off the series, and what might be coming back. What might be coming next for the channel. I'm still working on some things. I know what I'm posting tomorrow. It's going to be like a scratch and itch. I've done a couple of those before, not a whole lot. But it's just going to be like a little one-off on a cute little game I found from itch.io. And then the day after, I might be starting like another visual novel. I haven't fully decided on that one. I have some plans for like another full-on game. That's going to be a couple. That's for a couple days' time. But anyways, getting into this time, we are going to make our way to Khan's Hearts, do what the bandaged cook needs us to do there. And then from there, he should tell us about the final bit of his mission, where he's going to tell us that he either needs a fluke core or an elegiac cockatoo, I think is what it's called. I have looked into this prior, like, okay, I want to get an ending. What specifically do we need? And I know where to get the bird. That's also why at the end of last time we picked up a whole bunch of these candles. And an extra engine, because we are going to have to give up the serpentine whenever we go to win the game. But anyways, we're going to head over to the Khan's Heart now and go through whatever story bits we have there. So, we'll see you in a second. Okay, we're back here in the Khan's Heart. I did get the flea event again, and did fail it, so we did gain a little bit of terror and lost an iron and whatever else we lose for that. But... oh, that's leave in haste. Okay. Somewhere's down here. Oh, I skipped right past it. I was like, where is it? The poissonnier requests shore leave and back pay in a form preferred in the Khanate. He stands stiffly before you. I will not need long or much. If we had 10 drowning pearls, we could follow him in secret, but we'll allow him his privacy. He needs to collect a book of recipes, but he is short on details and long on guilty fidgeting. He asks for his back pay and drowning pearls. They will ease my weep as the white in golds. Bribes. Allow him his privacy. Whatever he's up to is not your business. Private business. He disappears into the canaled streets. An hour passes, too. The dockside lamps buzz. A water taxi bobs by, carrying a silk-swathed minister and his blushing, black-suited lover. Over the side of your ship, a sailor sings a music hall ballad as he chisels barnacles from her flank. Your cook returns. Did he find what he was looking for? I believe so, he says. His voice is hollow but determined. His hands are empty. As he boards the ship, he stops and catches your elbow. Captain, a word of advice. Do not divide yourself. Learn what matters to you, pursue it avidly. It is kinder not to give in the first place than it is to take back what you have given. You've lost 5 drowning pearls. The bandit's poissonnier requires either a colossal fluke core or an elegiac cockatoo. We're gonna go for the cockatoo. 1, because new stories. 2, because those fluke cores are really difficult to get a hold of. Like, we could find and beat another Lorne fluke, but they're such a pain. And with that, we're done here. So, next step, to pick up an elegiac cockatoo, over to the Mangrove College. So, I'll see you there in a second. Welcome to the Mangrove College. We've been here before, but I don't think we got to do much. So let's just read through it again. Mangrove College. The wise and the wicked seek sanctuary here, where the fruits are plenty and the woods wild. A steaming sprawl of parasynthetic vegetation in a village. Barely a village. Old walls, roofs in disrepair, stilts leaning dangerously. It looks to have been assembled by drunks in a hurry. Dock carefully. We can pick up Maybe's daughter here, pick up a passenger. This is the one that wants to... No idea. Eat, drink, be merry, gather supplies. Into the Wispways. Oh, we have strategic information to pick up here. Might as well read through this. An enigmatic gentleman lives a comfortable life in the largest huts. He won't see you without an appointment, but the Admiralty has arranged that appointment. An island of civilization. Once inside the hut, you might imagine yourself back in London. Bright candlelight, thick carpets, a little spotted with damp, even wallpaper similarly spotted. 2 philosophers wait on you both, a little sulkily. The enigmatic gentleman will say nothing until you've both eaten dinner. A fine if eclectic meal. Cavern trout, swamp fruits, spices from Adam's Way and Wither, served on Delft ware at a lacquered Ming table. That's apparently difficult. When you're done, he gives you a carefully itemized list of ship sightings, some excellent port, and a little something to take away. Remember me to the Admiral, he says fondly. You now have a meter salt. Too bad I don't think we need those anymore, but okay. Anyways, we need to go into the Wispways. We couldn't do this before because we didn't have candles. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, what number are we on? 15. Geist 15. If we end up using all of our candles and not getting what we need, I am reloading. Into the Wispways. The swamps around the village are full of mud, crocodiles, and vegetable treasures, including a notorious parasite called soulless fruit. The frogs and spreading branches occlude all light. Raise your lanterns high. You can leave at any time, but if you get in far enough, you'll generally find something interesting. You lost a candle, you lost a supply, you lost shrieks and chitters. Ooh, backdrop change. The Wispways. There are waterways and quaggy paths, marsh lights, and mud. Now and then parasynthetic mosses like shaggy curtains. Now and then a questing tentacle. Each event will take you further into the swamp. Go deep enough and you'll find something interesting. 3 skeletons on a hummock. They sprawl companionably around a long dead fire, as if they simply couldn't be bothered to get up. Skirting around. Nothing remains of their clothes or possessions. They've been long robbed of their purses, as well as their flesh. Each carries only a sardonic grin and a robe of creepers. White mosquitoes, lose to terror. What causes you to lose and gain terror in this game is somewhat questionable at times. That's going to be the same every time. Follow gliding lights. A knot of 7 wisps weaves ahead, beckoning you to follow. 7 is lucky, Azalea mutters, except when it's unlucky 7. That's helpful. Or ignore the lights. You have your candles. Wisps are uncertain. I want to follow the wisps. Byways. The light from the wisps touches glistening tree bark, beetles and motionless glossy glumps, bracket fungus yellow as parchment, the eyes of marsh rats, and here, a path. A soft phosphorescence. No one's orchard. The bark was scarified with marks resembling writing. A lump of flint lay at the base of the tree. Solace fruit. Was the flint a tool or merely a rock? It was impossible to be certain. The solace fruit, too, which grew on the tree. They are parasitic, and they will grow wherever they choose, but the colors mimicked the bark. Perhaps this was their native tree. Impossible to be certain. You're another day navigating the swamp's quality is gone. You now have 4 solace fruit. Okay then. I'm fairly certain. Did we make the wrong choice somewheres? It did. Have I been wrong this entire time? I'm actually looking this up. Like, did we make a wrong choice somewheres in there? Can be recruited by exploring the swamp and mangrove college by doing Into the Wisp Boys action, engaging the conversation between birds event. Okay. So we just didn't get the right events, but we do have a whole bunch more candles to try this with, so let's try again. Amphigator. A thrashing reptile rears from the swamp, twice, a head at each end. Uh-oh. A smothered scream. You level your weapons and fire. The amphigator retreats, gouting dark blood, but not before one of its jaws snatches a crewman. We failed, we gain a terror and lose 1 crew. A calamity of ants. Shining bodies burst from the pitcher plants around you. A thick mat of ants swarms in ambush. Flee! We're just I dislike this game right now. Falling behind. One sailor trips and the ants pour over him like oil. His screams pursue you through the trees. Lose a crew, lose a candle. Shrieking cockatoos. I saw that and I was like, ooh, is the next one going to be the cockatoo? Nope. A shimmering web. Half-material strands of blue-black lights hang between the trees. Something straight out of a realm of dreams to spin this. Its touch drinks life. Find a way around. Wow, just... Nope, you're dead. Nope, you're dead. Nope, you're dead. A long way around. You crash ill-temperedly through spined weeds and stinging mosses. Blue-furred apelings hoot mockingly. The mud bubbles like a dying soldier. Someone's missing! Someone's missing! An abandoned fort. A half-fallen fortress of basalt blocks on a low hill. The creatures of the swamp have stayed clear. There is insufficient mud, perhaps. Respite. You mount a guard on the walls, build a fire of stinking peats, bend your boots to evict sulky tadpoles. The swamps around you resound with sobbing whoops and screeching creaks, but nothing shows itself. Time passes. This is it! A conversation between birds. Finally. We only lost 3 crew members in the process. Birds are rare in the Neath, but the thickets here are full of feathered flutterings. These birds speak in human voices. Gossip. They're imitating the voices of the scholars of the Mangrove College. Familiar, scratchy grumbles and rumbling complaints. You hear old crimes, new loves, hushed confessions of plagiarism. I'm sorry, what? Seething trees. Branches thrash, leaves foam. The trees here writhe with fear. Onwards. On through the laced shade of the groaning oaks. At the back, Azalea whimpers in fear. They're dying. Someone says, they're dying. Then you're through. Blue. That was supposed to be the right event. We were supposed to get a bird there. We're gonna keep going in hopes that maybe there's just like an event at the end since we got that one. Blue. Stuttering slivers of heaven-colored light, as if the sky had stumbled. Mysterious and glorious until we found the source, at which point my crew began to chuckle. The goat. A bleeding billy with moss-matted fur staggered to and fro, eyes wide. A chain hung from its neck. The chain bore a lump of piercingly blue scintillac, the source of the stutters of light as the billy staggered along the path. We freed the billy and retrieved the scintillac. A rare piece like this is valuable. What? That was the right event. We should have gotten the bird there. What are you talking about, game? What is this game even on about? That was supposed to give us the bird we need. I might pause and just keep going through this until we get it. We're going to go through it one more time. Into the Wispways. Calamity of Ants. We've seen this one. We succeeded this time and only lost a fire, or the foxfire candle. A shimmering web. We've seen this one. We failed again. Lose a candle, lose a crew. An abandoned fort. No, it's Orchard. What is going on? This is the new one, at least. A mirror-surfaced pool. The banks are too crowded with mangroves for you to pass. Wade through it cautiously. A disappearance, because you're just going to keep taking crew from us. Your sailors wade in, guns held above their heads. Ripples spread, intersect, travel on into the dark. Bats chirp with derision as you pass. All seems quiet, but when you leave the pool, a leech the color of milky jade is clamped, pulsing to your thigh. Its color is shifting rapidly to a roseate pink. Already you feel weaker. Dispatch it. You gain a wound. A mirror surface pool. The banks are too crowded with mangroves for you to pass. Wade through it cautiously. That's the same event again. Calamity of Ants. Follow gilded lights. 3 skeletons. I'm done with this game right now. I'm gonna reload and keep going through it until we get the bird at this point. Because we should have gotten it before and just didn't. So I'll be back with you in a moment. Here we go. Finally got it. That took longer than it should have. Because when I tried to load the game, it broke and I couldn't actually enter the Wispways event. So I had to go searching to try and find out how to fix it. I ended up having to actually close out of the game and completely reload it. Which, granted, doesn't take that long with this game. It's only like a minute or two, but still. But apparently this was a 50-50 getting to Eljai Cockatoo, and it took me 3 tries. So, a little not great luck, but it could have been worse. Let's read through this. Gossip. Your home voice echoes back from the low branches of a thorn cypress. You're speaking poetry, a limping line about the still waters of the swamp, or rather a blackbird with fierce sad eyes is speaking poetry in your voice. You extend a hand. It hops calmly to land on your wrist, still declaiming. You now have one elegiac cockatoo. Oh wait, no. This was an event I had seen on my own, but I didn't actually get to read yet. The arborifaction. Limbs twined with vines, flesh already lignifying into dark wood. The corpse's mouth hung open. Where its face dissolved into the bark, its expression was still visible. Rapture. Rapture. Whatever had happened to this poor soul, whoever they had been, they had welcomed to their end. Soul's fruit hung in parasitic clusters from its woody torso. Had they occurred before or after the corpse's transformation? We found, too, a mask, one of those worn by the folk of Visage, a green and gold livery bird, one of the humble trapper caste. You gain an outlandish artifact and a soulless fruit. And we finally have an elegiac cockatoo. Sorry, birdie. I know you're a mascot and all, but sorry, birdie. Give him an elegiac cockatoo. When the bird sees the galley, it actually is... This is actually new. Let's read it. He has a request. After his visit to the Khanate, he is more fixated, less congenial. He corners you below decks, his eyes fervent between his wrappings. I need a capstone for the feast, Captain. Something unforgettable. I have a vision, note too. One demands the core of a Luan fluke, yet it requires a certain bird of the elder continent, a cockatoo, given to funereal poetry. I have heard a certain southern showman owns such a creature. He waves a casual hand. Either would do. Do not trouble yourself with both. No idea what that is. Southern showman? Like, is there an easier way to get the bird than what I just went through? Anyways. Give him an elegiac cockatoo. When the bird sees the galley, its poetry becomes doubly heartfelt. The final piece. Ah, he is magnificent. Come, my solemn feathered compatriot. Let us work wonders. We will be the best of friends for a little while. They vanish inside. The bird's poetry, even muted, does little to improve the mood of the crew. Several days later, the poissonnier throws a sack of feathers overboard, yet somehow gloomy couplets continue to drift from the galley's porthole. Ah, Captain, all is ready, although we will need wine, lots of wine. Procure 5 crates of mushroom wine, and make your way to Fathom's King's Hold. I didn't sell those, did I? Okay, we do have them. And with that, we head to Fathom King. But first, actually, you take your Veils challenge. Let's raise up our Veils a little bit, because currently we're at Veils 53. We have like 43 secrets or something, 41 secrets. So, I'm not sure if we've read through increasing our Veils with the Magician before. I'll read through it once, and then I'll use up a lot of the secrets, increasing Veils up to... Is that 53 right now? Yeah, 53. I'll probably increase it to like 75 or something like that. And then come back at the Fathom King ready to do the rest of the game, really. Let's read through it once, and then I'll bring you back. A magician never reveals his secrets. He does, however, trade them. Parting the veil. On the surface, darkness is the absence of light. Indeed, from a particular perspective, the opposite is true. You gained a veils, you lost a secret. And with that, I'll see you in Fathom King's Hold, so we can see this game's ending. Okay, we are here in Fathom King, and as you can see, our Veil score has gone up quite a bit. Technically, our Veil score is 73, but we have a plus 12 across all of our officers. So, I suppose since this is the last thing that we need to do before actually entering Fathom King, should we perhaps do the Merciless Modest mission first? I wish I didn't have to go through that for talking with the thing. Challenge the modest to her favorite game. Knife and Candle. In London, a spirited little challenge of murder, sedition, and subterfuge. At Z, the stakes are higher. The ferryman's grip is tighter here. This will let you wager a secret for a risky chance to boost your veils, up to 125. You may also have other reasons to fight the modest. While I'm thinking about this, Geist 17. We were at 15 earlier. I made an extra save trying to fix the whole not letting me continue thing. And anyways, we were at a 34% chance to win, which means we should win 1 and 3. But I'm fairly certain if we don't win, we get a wound. So if we fail all 3, then we die. So saving now seems like a good idea. But anyways, a game of cat and mouse. You smell her perfume just an instant too late. A gloved hand closes over your mouth, stifling your scream as a blade scrapes your bone. Something catches you as you fall to the deck. Softness behind the pain. Your head rests in folds of silk, a cool, tender caress. Shh, whispers the modest, cradling your head in her lap. Tipping it back, her knife slices playfully across your throat, just enough to leave its mark. Sleep, my captain, sleep. We shall play again soon enough, you and I. You lost a secret and gained a wound. Round 2. A game of cat and mouse. Gained a secret. Lost a secret. Gained a wound. It's 1 and 3, basically. Am I reloading the game? Time to reload. Hoping this doesn't break anything again. Let's try that again, shall we? Hi, giant crab. I don't really want to deal with you right now. I'm hoping that I can... I've got to reload the game. See you in a second. We're back? I'm curious of something. We haven't had a trouble with that this entire game until just now. Is it because I saved with a menu open? Like if I save out on this screen, will we end up with that same issue? Who knows? Hopefully we don't even have to test that. Still 34% chance. A knife in the dark. Here we go. An attempt on the lock to your cabin is in the early hours. The lock defeats her. A curious cry in the cargo hold. You are not foolish enough to investigate. You bide your time. Wait. Wait under her bed until all of her attention is taken by a fine piece of stitching. Until her knife is out of reach. You strike. The modest falls limp. Her perfume is drowned out by iron or copper. Assist the fallen modest. You have won. Time to get her to the surgeon. Finish off the modest. Cut her open. Take her hearts. This is very dark, but kind of in line with our captain, isn't it? A grisly prize. The modest serrated blade slices effortlessly through her flesh, opening her chest, shattering her ribcage. Force it open with your hands, straining as the bones yield and crack. How fragile her heart feels between your fingers, even more fragile as you tear it from its cradle of fat and muscle. This is your trophy now. You have earned it. We no longer have the merciless modest. We no longer want to learn about the merciless modest. Rumors of the pirate poet hasn't changed, because it's lower than 5. You gain 10 terror, you now have the merciless modest heart, and you gain avails. Yay! That was very dark and gruesome. But hey, we needed to do it. The other options were the heart of the pirate poets, and we like the pirate poets. Or killing some insane monsters that we have no chance of killing. But anyways, I think with that, we have the merciless modest hearts. We have someone who's not quite yet a willing guest, but will be upon serving the drowned king. And, as evidenced by the Apocyan chess piece, we've seen the end of an eldest. I think it's time to find out about our father's missing bones. Actually, attend the Poissonniers' Fest. The Drowny Court, soggy, chattering, hungry, populate a table of carved coral. The Poissonnier claps his hands. Your crew scurry in with steaming plates. The Seventh Miracle. There are 7 courses, each named. It begins with the first touch on the skin, a plate of silky white flesh submerged in yellow sauce. Fresh, sharp, shocking. Next comes struggling against the current. Fierce terrain of coursing flavors. It leaves the diners watery-eyed and reaching for their wine. Before they recover, bowls of pelican soup are set before them. Swallowed. The Poissonnier intones. The taste is deep and rich and heavy, lining the stomach. Several drownies lift the bowls to their lips and catch the last drops. A merciful interlude follows. The surface, high above, is a mild, palate-cleansing mousse. Afterwards comes lost breath, a roulade of still wriggling tentacles, bitter on the tongue's tip, but departing with a long, mellow aftertaste as it slides down the throat. The penultimate course, the abandonment of the self, is spun with sugar and crunchy with salt, spherical cages of solidified syrup, containing fiery sweetmeats. The filigree cracks between drowny teeth. The sweetmeats vanish down damp gullets. Last of all, the promise of what is to follow. A bruleed cream of inexplicable pungency, indescribably more-ish. The diners lean back bloated. When their senses are turned, they call for the Poissonnier and congratulate him upon impeccably reproducing the sensation of drowning in culinary form. It was not drowning, the Fathom King says, his baritone rolling over their babble. It was love. He raises his glass to the Poissonnier. You no longer have a bandaged Poissonnier. We do, however, have a bandaged chef paramount. The bandaged Poissonnier created a feast for the Fathom King. Okay, we need to use another secret to get down there. Discuss the matter of your father's bones. Your complexity. I have a more personal petition. You know something of my father, or what remains of him. Present the merciless modest heart. Your complexity. Here is the heart of a legend. The Fathom King tuts. Oh, a pity. She sent so many interesting people down here below. But I am a power of my word. She was a legend. Here, place this on your ship's bow, and it will give you strength in battle. His chamberlain gives you a barbed iron charm, and spirits the heart away on a platter. The king purses his lips. Hearts, he muses. I should develop another one. I grow more elaborate by the day. Introduce the Fathom King to your chef paramount. The chef has learnt everything there is to know of cuisine above the waves. Perhaps he's ready to learn of the culinary treasures below. You'd miss him, but you owe him the chance. Magnificent. The chef's mustaches quiver with excitement. He kisses his hand to you and bounds creakily to the Fathom King's side. I am at your complexity's service. I have so many questions. That's not the voice I was using from before. The saviors of the Pelican West, are they distinct? Can Mutter Salt survive that fundamental pressure? Is the feast truly fluke flesh? The king attempts several times to interrupt the chef's excited babbling. When he fails, he gestures to his chamberlain. You're rewarded with a word which compels attention, and an assurance that your service has been recognized. Gain of hearts, gain of secrets, fulfilled the Fathom King's request for a willing guest. Bear witness to the principal's end. How old was the principal's, the eldest? Perhaps old enough to satisfy the Fathom King. An ending.
Harry,
He told me.
my thoughts grow burdened.
No, that's us speaking, not the Fathom King. Hurry, it told me. My thoughts grow burdensome. And then, at the chess game's end, dissolution. The Fathom King listens. A single tear rolls down his cheek, though his face remains expressionless. His chamberlain steps forward to remove the tear with a darting tongue.
My bride's family,
He tells you.
they have long grown eccentric, and the principal's was the most eccentric of all. Yes, that is sufficient. Come closer, and I will tell you something of other disillusions.
Gain the veils, gain the secrets. Present the Fathom King with your serpentine. Your complexity. Here is a miracle of science and the subtler arts. Glass and fire, steel and serpents, power imprisoned dreams.
Fascinating. Is that a finger king in there? Alive. And it makes your ship go. I must say, that's splendidly done. You have fulfilled my request handsomely.
At his gesture, a drowning child walks forward, bare feet slapping on rock, to present you with a knife of coral. The Chamberlain, meanwhile, kindly arranges to replace your engine with a spare from a ship they had recently eaten. You have fulfilled the Fathom King's service. Really? I bought one of these things and they gave me another one? Gain a 9, gain a secret, gain an outlandish artifact. The Fathom King's key. Finally, the Fathom King beckons you closer.
You have done everything I asked. So few people do, you know. You are an exception. And so I shall make an exception for you.
You bend to place your ear by his mouth. The reek of the drowned. The Fathom King stinks of salt and rotting flesh, but also of something electric, ozone, alien. His breath is cold. He whispers in your ear and he presses something into the palm of your hands.
Go now. Good luck.
He smiles thinly.
Perhaps one day your child will stand before me and ask the same questions.
You have a knife to match with the one at King Eater's castle. You have fulfilled the Fathom King's request. You now have one searing enigma. Is that it? So you've completed the test for the Fathom King. The Fathom King has given you what you need. Take it to your destination. Is this the key to winning the game, or do we take this to King Eaters? I'm not entirely sure. We need something denoting we found our father's bones to win. I don't know if it's the dagger, though. 1 second. We might just head back to Fallen London now and win. I'm not entirely sure. I'm looking into it. I'm on the wiki page, scrolling all the way down. Oops. No! I accidentally hit the back button and have to load through the page again. Okay, we go back to Fathom King first, it seems like. Well, it says we go back to wherever we first got told where to go. We first got told to the place we first got to. The Admiral told us to go to the what's it called? King Eaters. We go to King Eaters. Why was that so difficult for me to like piece together? Oh. I love the logbook. Why won't it work? Oh, we didn't install an engine. That's literally what my thought was. Like, What is happening? And then I hear the click, 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 click. Oh. Anyways, I think we're good on supplies and stuff to head out to King Eater's. So I'll bring you back over there. Here we are, back at King Eater's castle for basically the last story bit in this game. I don't think it's going to be anything important here. I'm not even going to bother picking up the port report. Your father's bones at King Eater's castle. All around the altar, bones lie in brown drifts like naked fossils. If the Admiral is to be believed, your father's bones are here among them. But which? Where? Match the knife to its twin. The Fathom King gave you a knife. It is the exact twin of the one he gave to your father. If you can find it and match it... There, that is the one. An unclean thing. This is the knife that once lay in the heart of your father. When you take it up, gingerly, a darkened, shouting joy rushes through you. Your bones tighten, your eyes sharpen, your blood pounds. Your sailors back away as you raise it, growling with feral energy. It fades. You are yourself again. Though something remains. Something that would devour kings. And this pitiable knot of brown bones, picked clean by Zia and Isle Rat. This is your father. Whatever unclean thing he came here for, he failed. Perhaps you can give him peace. Return to London with your father's bones to complete the game. You now have your father's bones. That's gone. Gain 25 iron. You now have a trophy, a shattered coral knife. You gained 5 terror. Okay, so it's time to head back towards Fallen London. It's going to be a long distance, but we have some things to cover, so I think we're actually going to, for old time's sake, travel on video as we kind of go through like final thoughts on this game, and again with what's next. So, my feelings on this game. I'm gonna go full power to try and get away from this thing, actually. My feelings on this game are... I'm gonna say a bit of a double-edged sword, I guess. Terror is actually dangerous right now. I'm gonna regret this, but I'm gonna keep going full power, trying to gain as much distance as I can, as fast as I can. But you can probably tell in a number of these videos on this game, I start to get a little annoyed, a little aggravated. And maybe I went a little too far at times, but I feel justified in being a little frustrated with how some of the things in this game work. Like, there's some, like, RNG things that are, like, a little too harsh. There are some things that just aren't explained well enough. And there's some pretty frustrating back and forth bits. Like, oh, you want to continue on the story here. Oh, go get this thing. Oh, we're not going to tell you where to get it. Oh, you need candles. Oh, you can buy candles. But until you upgrade your ship, you're not going to have a hold space for the candles. And that got really frustrating at points. And just like traveling around like this, there's a reason I started cutting this from the game, from the videos, because it takes so long. We're gonna have to stop at Fathom King and drop in a save. We might go into one more mutiny before we're done here. I think the last time I saved was before finishing up with the Fathom King. But anyways, yeah, this game has some problems. I think that's for sure. But despite that, I think I've enjoyed myself. For the most part, at least. Like, a lot of these, like, story bits in this game are pretty cool. There's this world has a lot of building to it. This game, I if we wanted to, we could even return to this game at some point. Especially since this game has a DLC that I don't currently have, but I could pick up and start going through. I'm just not sure if I want to. Like, this game has a lot of stories, and technically we could go in and see a lot more of them. But stories are cool, but I think the rest of the game just doesn't keep up enough now. I almost hit new game. That would have been bad. I probably could have called it like Geist Finn or something like that. Like, the story is... We're just going to keep getting events like that, though, right? That's another frustration I have with this game. But, anyways. Is the pirate poet? One more tussle with the pirate poets? Sure. I keep getting distracted. But as I was saying, this game has DLC. It has a DLC called Submariner, which adds in a few new islands and a few islands like under the Unterzee. Submarine, like a submarine, obviously. And I could pick it up and return to this game at some point. If I do, it's not going to be for a while, though. I'm not sure if or when I'm ever going to pick this game up again on the channel. Or maybe even in my free time. I think getting an ending in this game of any sorts is a fairly good place to end it off. And maybe one day return, but that's a big maybe. But anyways, just keep taking crew members while I'm in the middle of a fight, okay? But anyways, I suppose one last tussle with the pirate poets is also a pretty good way to end it. And... uh-oh. Will we lose terror for beating you? We realized last episode that you actually lose terror for beating some monsters. Like the jellyfish, I think, dropped terror down by 8 after we beat them. But for the last time, rescue the pirate poets. Once again, you're the victor. One more meeting with a rival out at sea as we head home to forever put up our captain hat. 100 echo, a fuel, a supply, and a cache of curiosities. A fully scrap of paper. I think we have already read this one. This is the one that's like, I know, Irem told me you were going to read this. Okay, terror did drop. That's good. But yeah. We've seen, I think, all of the stories in this game that I think we want to see at this point. We could eventually return one day, but that's going to be a long ways out, if ever. I think that's all my real thoughts on the ending of this game, as we end this game up. It's a flawed game. I enjoyed it. We could technically continue on with it if we wanted to, but I don't think we're going to. Maybe one day, but not today, or I guess tomorrow. And once again, we're in danger with terror. It went down by 8. Don't really have the fuel to... You go away. We definitely don't have time to deal with you. This is Station 3. We can't do anything at Station 3 to, like, lower terror or anything. That thing's still chasing us. Do I have any more ramblings to talk about? I've already sort of gone over what's coming next for the channel. Okay, thou art lower terror too. Butcher it for supplies. Lose hunger. Okay, I think we'll be fine now. We're gonna stop at Pigmoat one more time. Say goodbye to our rodent friends. I was trying to think of a better word. Was it rodentian friends? Which is basically just the word rodent anyways, just like the scientific name for them. I don't know. I don't have anything for it. But we have one more fight with our rival out at sea, and one more dinner with our rodent friends over at Pigmoat Isle, as we sail into London for the final time. Also, killing a jellyfish. For terror and supply reasons. We don't have a chef anymore, which means we can't... If this thing gives us a strange catch, we can't actually use it for food very well. Oh yeah, we got a whole bunch of terror, so we actually do quite a bit more damage now. Full reverse. This is just not worth it. I should have just kept going. Let's scoop it up. Okay, it gave us the supplies, not a strange catch. That's good. But anyways, one final feast at Pigmoat Isle is about to come up. And then we say goodbye. I've said the same thing like 4 times now because I keep rambling. I've kind of said all my final notes on the game at this point. A flawed game, a game I enjoyed for the most part, but one we're not picking up again. I think that's pretty evident in the fact that for the past like 10 episodes, I keep like reloading. Or is it closer to 15 now? It might even be like 15 episodes now. Rather than going with the like die, start as a new captain, starting over and over and over again, starting from scratch, keeping the same captain over all these last few episodes, despite the fact that we've died like 7 times or 8 times or something like that. Yeah. It's a fun cycle for 2 or 3 times, but after that it kind of grows old. Right. There are roguelikes that it works for, not really this game style though, I think. That's a good way to put it, I think. Yeah. But anyways, a banquet in your honor. King Graysaw and First Minister Edgar invite you and the crew to share Pigmoat's bounty. A meal fit for emperors. Ooh, we got the good one. You have to kneel at the long table. None rise without eating their fill. United Merinia is flourishing. London may laugh at its new neighbors, but other powers have sent envoys to negotiate for Skintalak. Spiced soup is followed by glistening haunches of meat wrapped in tender chickenwood spice strips. Ugh. Both are merely appetizers. By dessert, you fear having to be rolled back aboard ship. Seneschal orders the leftovers delivered to the hold. There we go. Fuel's a little troubling, but we have enough supplies and enough fuel left over so that we'll be able to get into port just fine. Worst case scenario, we'll also have like 2,000 echo and we can just spend the money to be hauled into ports. It would kind of suck if we avoid doing that this entire game and have to do it on the ending. But yeah, not much further left to go. I sort of just stuck with just going the whole way on ship, but on video. But then I ran out of stuff to say. I could just keep going like, oh, we're passing yada yada island, crab cake island right now. Oh, there's a giant crab to the east. What do we name our ship again? It's the Dissonance, right? We sail into port to decommission the ship, the Dissonance. We didn't have the Dissonance for very long, but it was a good ship. It did help us win the game after all. The extra cargo space let us get more money by carrying things around. The extra weapon slot helped us beat the monsters we needed. The extra health was just all around good. like we hit red health once after upgrading. And we were hitting red health like once an episode, if not more, beforehand. But yeah. Here comes the Wolfstack Docks. One final bit of story bit to go through. I'm assuming there's like a tiny bit of like retirement story. But yeah. Our days on the Unterzee are done. A breath of relief. Coming home. We'll forever have nightmares, it seems like. I thought the blind bruiser was about to pop up and he's like, hey, pick something up for me. I was like, no thank you. Your lodgings. Time with your family. Just enjoy their company. Read the morning paper. And consider retirement from the seafaring life. Maybe it's time. This will allow you to review options with which will end the game. You can safely scrutinize them without choosing one. Victory. Retire with your father's bones restored. You have the grim bundle wrapped respectfully in oilskins. Arrange a funeral. A quiet afternoon. Rain at funerals is decorous. The Neath chooses to grace this afternoon with one of its thin and melancholy showers. Water drops glisten on the shovel, the coffin, the pale expanse of the vicar's forehead. Not many Londoners remember your father, but the sense of occasion, the long quest, the final return to rest, has brought out a sizable crowd. Mourners line up to shake your hand. When they speak, you hear only the Z. Afterwards, you give the servants an evening off. The house is empty, the clock ticks. The roof beams creak companionably. You can still hear the Z. This captain's career is complete. You now have a trophy, a family portrait. A daguerreotype of a memorial, the image of an imposing memorial. The rain-blurred name is difficult to read. A previous captain in your lineage found and buried their father's bones. Or a substitute. You've gained 5 mirrors, you've gained 5 iron. Choose a legacy to preserve something for your next captain. Joyous conclusion. Geist. Retired June 28th, 1889. Reigns at funerals is decorous. That's all the same. This is a different little jingle from before. But there we go. A very different ending. Or actually, no, not a very different ending screen. Actually, not a fan of this. I was about to say something. I was like, oh, a very different ending screen just because this says something else and this doesn't list a way of dying. Other than that, it's exactly the same screen. Not actually a huge fan of that. But yeah, I want to thank you very much for watching this final episode of Sunless Sea. I hope you've enjoyed as much as I have, and I hope to see you next time on whatever we decide to do next with the channel. But anyways, without further ado, take care everybody.